Happy Monday. Today is the 22nd day of November. Coming on close up on Thanksgiving, aren't we? 22nd day of November. This is the 41st episode of season 2 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. Try it. You might like it. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I am a professional creative and the creator of the Hero Ministry movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community through a number of different ways. That includes the charity run that we'll talk about in a second. So quick disclaimers, I am not a personal trainer or a financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt, do your own research, do your own due diligence. Check me out here on the New Thought Media Network, Monday through Friday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. And also shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space and this opportunity to talk about my effort and my journey to become my own hero. That said, if the show provides any value, feel free to like, comment, share, spread the word, let people know, make a donation, buy something from the Hero store, or just check out my website, sekouwrites.com. Okay, so all that said, shout out to the heroes in the chat. Shout out to Nan, shout out to Tim, rocking with the cup of coffee again. I don't even know why that tickles me so much. I don't even know why, but I dig it. And someone else in the chat said that they liked it too. Anyway, so let's get into the Hero Ministry movement news right off top. Okay, so today is day 175. Once again, every once in a while, when I say the numbers, it hits me. Most of the time, it doesn't anymore because I've gotten in the habit, the routine of saying the numbers every day. But every once in a while, I'm like, wait, what? 175 days of me running every single day, at least a mile a day, and 73 days of me running at least 3 miles a day every single day for the past 73 days. And that's just at least, because many days I've run more than 3 miles. It's mind-boggling to me. It's not something that I ever thought that I would be capable of. It's not even something that I aspire to. Like all of this, for those of you just meeting me, all of this is brand new. All of this is brand new. And I am as shocked as anyone that I tell about it who hears about it for the first time. Anyway, day 175/73. And today is what my mom would call a test day. Let me tell you. So my plan, allow me this slight sidebar. My plan was do the laundry, put my stuff in the dryer, wake up in the morning, and all my stuff will be ready, right? That's not what happened. What happened is I got up in the morning and I got up late. Well, that's not true. I was up early, but I started moving towards running late because, the excuses were going. All the excuses were running and I had to push past the excuses. And then because of that, I got a late start. So by the time I checked the dryer, I was dismayed to discover that the dryer didn't dry. All my clothes were wet and I had put all my running clothes in. I didn't leave any running clothes out. So there was like no plan B for the running clothes. All of them were in the dryer. And I was like, oh, they're all wet. So I went through another round of excuses, but I will cut to the chase. I went running in my wet clothes that were still wet from the dryer. I did. I was like, I'm not going to let these excuses stop me. If I redo the dryer, it's going to take too long. Let me just get out here and get it done. And then I get outside wet from head to toe, socks, pants, shirt, hoodie, all of it's wet. And then I get outside and it's raining. I was like, okay, test day. So anyway, I ran anyway. I generated enough heat and energy to dry everything off, which is kind of interesting. That's not something I ever would have thought about before, but that was cool. And I got back, I felt fine, took a hot shower, cool. So just my point there is that for me, I'm discovering over and over again that the excuses will keep coming and the excuses are valid. My clothes really were wet. It really was raining, but I can choose to push past those excuses to get done what needs to get done. And that is something that that is a muscle that I am building so that I can apply it in other areas of my life. So I invite you to do the same. All right, so that was a tangent. My bad. If you saw my run report, you already got this story, but I just gave you more detail here. Okay, so back on track. Only a few more days left to the 4th annual Hoodies for the Homeless event in Nashville, Tennessee. This event was created by Project Love Strong, which is one of my nonprofit partners. And at the 3rd annual Hoodies for the Homeless is where I launched what is now known as the Hero Ministry Movement. At the time, it was just Hero Hoodies. And so it's amazing to me how much it has grown and morphed over the past year. Okay, so I'm over 460 miles. I haven't done the math yet because I'm so close that I kind of want to be surprised. So maybe I'll do it around Thanksgiving. I'll add up the miles, but I'm definitely over 460. Also, in terms of donations, we're down into the 1200s now. Last time I reported on this, we were in the 1300s, like $1,300 left. And before that, $1,400 left. So now we're in the $1,200 left range. I think the increased energy is because of this campaign I've been running. I've been calling it 10 by 10. Here's a flyer I just created. So this is my 10 by 10 challenge, and I've been challenging 10 people to donate just $10. And the caption there says, if you're not sure how to help the unhoused this holiday season, please consider giving to my charity run, which raises money for several nonprofits at once. So I think the specificity and the small amount, the $10, is helping people to jump in. So that's it. That seems to be going well. I invite you to spread the word or join in on my 10 by 10 challenge. That seems to be going well. And so that leads me to the nonprofits, which I talked about on Friday. Those of you that saw the show, it was a little emotional for me. And so let's talk about that here. So I had to sit with, thanks for everyone that reached out and had words of wisdom and support and advice, etc. Mostly I had to sit with myself and just kind of pray and meditate and get centered and focused. And what came up for me is that from the beginning, I've been kind of trying to force 3 of the nonprofits into this framework. And when I say that, I mean that 5 of them fit in easily. And then the other 3, I wanted them in because they fit a story that I was telling myself about how all this came together. And so when I thought about that am I frozen? Can you guys see me? I'm frozen on my screen, but I hope it's okay. I'm just going to keep rolling. So anyway, there were 3 nonprofits where it was kind of like pulling teeth. And I was doing that because I liked the story of how those nonprofits came into my worldview as a result of me doing the Hero Ministry Movement work. But that said, when I really got clear about what my intention was and is to raise money for some nonprofits and also raise awareness for them, for some smaller nonprofits that might not get the kind of attention as some bigger nonprofits. So I got clear with that this weekend because I kind of lost track of that. That is not only my goal to raise money, but it's also to raise awareness, to make you and other people aware of these nonprofits so that you can engage with them directly and support them directly. And it is definitely not my intention to pull anybody into this that does not want to be there. So I've made some shifts and I realized that I can do this in layers and levels, which is funny because that's how I envisioned it in the beginning in December of last year when I launched Hero Hoodies, what was then Hero Hoodies, but I kind of lost track of that. So when I first launched Hero Hoodies, I had these tiers. So one of the tiers was what I call drop spots. So I have these drop spot partners where I would drop off Hero Hoodies at these places and these organizations for them to distribute to the unhoused however they see fit. And then there were other folks that I had more of a partnership with. And so I'm bringing that back here and now and dividing the nonprofits into those 2 categories. And there may be some others in the future, but at least those 2. So there are the charity run partners who are embedded with me. They like this activation. They've been actively supportive of it. And there's also the charity partners who are drop spots, who I'm sending product to, sending hoodies and sweatshirts and socks to, et cetera, for them to have and distribute to their folks. So every nonprofit that I encounter that works with the unhoused, I will ask them, because that's another mistake I made. I didn't ask, but every nonprofit that I encounter that works with the unhoused in the future and now, I will ask them if they're interested in me sending them product. And I think that's an easy ask. I send them the stuff, they do with it what they will. And then a few others, a smaller group, I will ask if they want to be involved in this greater activation, this hero charity run that not only raises awareness, but raises money for them. So all that said, I know that was kind of long-winded, but I was trying to, explain it as best I can. And it's still a little bit percolating in my mind, but that's basically it. It's basically levels. There's levels to this. There's nobody that's in or out. It's just different levels of involvement. And so that said, we are doing a Fabulous Five. A Fabulous Five, and the other three nonprofits will be part of the circle that I'm creating of drop spots. I already had 6 drop spots before this, so 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I got 9 drop spots, maybe 10. So now I've got these 2 levels, and I'm grateful that I thought about it that way. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to reintroduce you to the 5 nonprofits that have been really involved, really engaged, and really wanting to do this work with me. The first, obviously, is Project Love Strong. I've mentioned them a number of times. That's their event coming up on the 4th. So I'm going to reintroduce you to Jay White, who was the founder of Project Love Strong. Just briefly, I literally found her on Facebook. People think that we know each other because we've done so much together, but I came up with Hero Hoodies first, and then I was looking for a small nonprofit that was based in Nashville to work with, and I found her on Facebook. I was suggested to connect with her on Facebook. So this is just a quick snippet of Rev Mel interviewing Jay White, who was the founder of Project Love Strong. I just want to reintroduce you guys to her. And here we go.
These people need love too. These people need resources. I'll go and give it to them myself. That's kind of how it started. I just couldn't shake it. Like, I just was calling my friends and my family, like, can you believe that this is like the homeless people was living? And they were just like, what? Like, they had no idea what I was talking about. I just wouldn't let it go. Like, it bothered me. Like, it was so strong on me to like do something about it. It's like, this is unbelievable. Like, I can't believe, like, what happens when it snows? What happens when it rains? What happens when anything happen? Like, this is just not safe, And so it was just the passion behind my love for helping people that birthed Project Love Strong. It was like, we're going to love on individuals as best as we can. And if that means meeting them where they are and meeting that direct need, then that's what we do.
I love that. And that's how I met you, Jay.
Yeah.
I met you through Hoodies for the Homeless. Sekou came on board with the Hero Hoodies. And, and that was it. I was like, I love her. I don't know her, but I love her. I love what she's doing. I think she's amazing.
These people need love too. These people need.
There we go. And so that was the beginning of me interacting with these nonprofits kind of in person, and inviting them to have greater exposure through Rev Melissa and through you and through other channels. So, and then the other thing, last thing I want to say before I get on over to the money stuff, is that making it a smaller group means that there can be more money. Because now we're talking about $1,000 per nonprofit. 5 nonprofits, $5,000. We're talking about $1,000 per nonprofit. So goal is still the same, still ticking on down. About $1,200 left, and that could be a significant amount of money for those nonprofits. And again, I will still be sending product to the other nonprofits. So that's where we are. That was Jay White, Project Love Strong. I will introduce the other members of the, what did I say, Fabulous Five during the rest of the week. Okay, let's get on over to some prosperity. Let's start with our affirmation. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I just want you to hold that with you as you move through the day, as you move through whatever struggles you might have mentally. Come back to that affirmation. So speaking of which, as you may know, if you watched the show on Friday, I was feeling a little emotional. And so what I did to shift my mood was to go to go back to the NFT gallery. And I spent pretty much all weekend in the NFT gallery. Friday and Saturday, I was in the NFT gallery. And I learned so much because immersion is an entirely different way of learning. Like, you can study something, but when you're immersed in it, it's entirely different. So I invite you to check out my social media to see the video I shot of the wall. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. So look at the photo of the Manhattan Bridge behind me, right? So that's a big photo. So imagine if that photo was a computer screen and it stretched all the way left and right. Just the whole wall is a computer screen. That's what it's like in the gallery. One full wall is a computer screen, and it's a big wall. And when I was there, it was set up for virtual reality, meaning that there was a character on the wall who had on the virtual reality goggles, and then everything around him came to life in virtual reality. I know that's hard to explain, hard to get, but just bear with me. It was amazing. And I learned so much about NFTs and about this world. And so I want to ping a couple of things. I learned over the weekend that when I talk too much about this stuff, it starts to overwhelm people. So I'm going to choose my words carefully. So I'll reset the room as I do that. So for those of you just joining us at 10 a.m., I now start the show at 9:45. The show has been expanded. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for making that suggestion. It was them that made that suggestion, not me asking for it. So I appreciate that. And yeah, so if you're just tuning in now at 10 o'clock, you missed a few things, so watch the replay. Okay, so NFT gallery. What I want to say that I think will be easy to for everyone to wrap their heads around is it's about ownership. I don't think I've heard anyone else say that really, but it's really about ownership. And that's why the artistic community is glomming onto the NFT world so actively, because it's about ownership. Because blockchain, the technology that undergirds all these movements, metaverse, cryptocurrency, NFTs, etc., is designed to be not only unhackable, but to be very specific about who owns what. Like a way to show who owns what that can't be corrupted and that everybody can see, like a visible ledger. So if you think about it that way, it has infinite ramifications. So I'm going to finish my example. I was talking about artistry, right? So those of us who are artists, myself included, we've got art all over the place, social media, everywhere. It's out there, right? Well, if somebody takes something, knock on wood, somebody takes something, it's difficult to prove who owns it. Like, I've literally done what I call a bootleg copyright. Well, I'll mail myself a copy of something that I created and then not open it. I've also registered stuff with the Library of Congress. I've done all the different things. But here's the deal. I would not have to do that once this technology fully comes online. Like, once I say in my phone that accesses my, my wallet that accesses the blockchain, once I say this thing that I created on this day is mine, it's in there and everybody can see it, and it's undisputable. So if someone tries to use it, I mean, it wouldn't even go to court. But if it did, I'd just be like, here's my phone. You wanna read that? You wanna check that out? And that's it. So for artists, there's this really palpable excitement about blockchain and NFTs because ownership. And if I could just push a little further, I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I overwhelmed some folks this weekend talking about it, so I don't want to overwhelm anybody. But I'm gonna push it a little bit further. Think about real estate. Like, you buy a home and you've got a physical deed, like papers, and you got to have a filing cabinet and put in the filing cabinet and make sure that it's in a filing cabinet that's fire retardant in case there's a fire in the house, and all these things, right? You got to be able to prove ownership at some point, and that ownership proof is on paper. But what if it's on your phone, though? What if it exists in the cyberverse, so you don't have to worry about keeping up with those papers anymore? Like the ownership, your ownership of that home is in this digital ledger that everyone can see. And again, it's indisputable. You own the home and you've got access to the quote unquote documents that prove your ownership in the blockchain. So I say all that to say that this is revolutionary. Like my previous statements about, yeah, I think it's coming, I'm adding some extra emphasis. Like there is no way that this is not coming online, because how often is it the case that once the artists get involved in whatever movement it is, then the movement becomes a reality? You can apply that to so many different things. And that's what's happening here. The artists are very actively getting involved in this because of ownership. So I'm gonna tell one story. Yeah, just one story, and then I'll move on. But there's and again, I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want to, I'm avoiding the overwhelm. But there's a guy that I met at the gallery, and he makes rugs. He makes rugs. And what he did was he started making rugs with an aesthetic, a visual aesthetic that mimics what happens visually in the world of NFTs. Okay? Everybody with me? So it looks like something that might be from the world of the metaverse, let's say. Anyway, he created these rugs, and then he created an account to sell the rugs. And I think the first rug he had sold out in 30 seconds, and the second one sold out in 4 minutes. Like it's technology that's moving so fast, and all of a sudden he's like a for real artist. Because I heard the story from him, and I also heard it from someone else that knew him, and it was like he had been making these rugs, been having some trouble getting traction, but once he moved them into the world of NFTs, then it took off. So the way it works is he made an NFT, so a visual representation of the rug, a digital representation. And someone could buy the digital representation of the rug. And when they buy the digital representation of the rug, and now it shows in their phone that they own it, the physical rug comes in the mail. So the buyer gets both. The buyer gets the physical rug and as a bonus to buying the digital rug. And there's no doubt about who owns it, who created this digital rug. As I say this, I feel like I'm confusing it, but it's so exciting to me, just the fact that you can be very clear about what the ownership is, and that you can build in these extra benefits. Like maybe I can use me as an example. Like I could create an NFT for one thing that I do, and it includes something else that I do. Like let's say, for example, I create a book cover for one of my books that's an NFT. So if someone buys that book cover, I can build into the smart contract, which is to say the programming of the NFT, that what comes automatically is a physical copy of the book in the mail and access to watch my play online. Something completely unrelated. I can just build it into the contract. I mean, it's infinite. It's infinite. So I'm very excited. If you guys want to hear more about it, just let me know, because I know I'm kind of geeking out about it now. So that said, let me pull back to where we are. We have been working on bricks of an investment wall that is necessary. Because the first premise, taking us all the way back, the very first premise is you can't just save money. That's what we've learned. You can't just save money. You can't just stick money in a savings account and believe that it's going to benefit you. It's not. When you stick money in a savings account, it's losing money. There's like a slow leak. Imagine a slow leak in that savings account because of inflation. So that money is just diluting itself and diluting itself and diluting itself. It may stay the same amount. It may stay $1,000, but that $1,000 can buy less and less and less month by month by month. So I repeat, the only way to become wealthy in this society, in the way things are set up here, is to invest. which means you got to figure out what you're going to invest in and how, but you got to invest in something. And NFTs are just one of many things that you can invest in. So the safest thing that I found thus far in terms of investing in the stock market are index funds. We've talked about those before, so I won't go into them again. So, but that is what I call the garden brick. Just put that money in the garden and let it grow, set it, forget it, don't worry about it. And I've been talking about the other bricks that you can add to that. If you don't want to just do index funds, you can add some other bricks, but just doing index funds is more than enough. I heard over the weekend, I haven't fact checked this, but I heard over the weekend that the S&P 500, which is the garden brick that I've been promoting, every dollar invested in that, in the S&P 500 doubled over the past 16 months, right? So even if you just do that, it's fine. Just put all your money in the S&P 500, you'll be good. But if you want to add some other bricks, we've talked about that. We've talked about growth bricks, which growth stocks are stocks that don't pay dividends. We've talked about income stocks. These are stocks that do pay dividends. We've talked about REITs, real estate investment trusts, that pay dividends sometimes monthly. So we've talked about a few different things. And obviously we've been talking about the risk brick. And I've been talking a lot about the risk brick because I feel like that is the place where there is exponential growth. Like there's growth in all the places that we've talked about, but in terms of exponential life-changing growth, it's this crypto verse. Because there's that quote about, I think it was Wayne Gretzky who said that the reason he's so good at hockey is because he skates to where the puck will be, not where the puck is. And this is where the puck will be. And you see how hard it is to think about it that way because you don't know. You don't know. It's still a gamble, right? But once it happens, like everyone will be trying to do it and it'll be late. Like the investment that's exponential is early. Again, I'm going to use the same example I used before. This feels to me I think this is what it must have been like when trains were the only mode of transportation and people started talking about cars. And it was all this pushback, like, nah, that's not going to happen. Now, see, now it's a no-brainer because it's already happened. But can you have the vision to see that it's going to happen before it happens and invest? So anyway, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I am shifting as much as I can towards the world of cryptocurrency, metaverse, NFTs, because I see things happening, especially with what I just said about the weekend and seeing all these artists getting really involved in the world of NFTs. And one last thing I'll say about that is there was an artist who sold a piece for $69 million. Let's just round it up to 70. Let's just round it up to 70. Sold a piece for $70 million. It's a digital work, but if it was printed out, it would be the size of a building. That's the way it was described to me. It's massive. And the people that bought it broke it out into smaller pieces and sent those smaller pieces to museums where they're being sold individually. And what they're being sold for individually add up to well over $70 million. So I'm just saying, my point there is that this is already happening. It's not like it might happen sometime in the future. No, this is happening. A $70 million sale that is generating even more than $70 million in the museum market, secondary market. So all that said, my chosen risk brick is the cryptoverse. I invite you to come with me. As you see, I'm very excited about the possibilities there, and I'm going to keep talking about that. All right, so I've run out my time talking about the NFT gallery and my excitedness about it. I will circle back to the resources later this week because I'm going to add some more. And right now it's time for prayer time, and then it's time for Sit with Rev. Melissa at 10:30. So till I see you again, keep doing, be a hero, be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. Push past your excuses and pay attention to everything that's happening in terms of crypto, because I think that is the next big thing. All right, until next time, later.